So hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys the ultimate summer makeup. I don't know why my acting is so bad, but anyways, so the first step of summer makeup is sunscreen. And I feel like I have to yell that. I'm so sorry, because a lot of people, especially people of color, they don't think that they need sunscreen, but let me tell you a little secret, okay? Skin cancer does not discriminate, so please make sure you are wearing some. This one is from Neutrogena, and it is honestly the best one I've ever tried in terms of how it performs under makeup. It just feels weightless on the skin, and it doesn't disturb any makeup that you put over it, so I really enjoy it. I like to let my sunscreen sink in for a bit, so let's move on to brows. If you are a hairy individual like myself, you know that your brows can get very unruly very fast. So in the summer especially, I need an eyebrow gel that I can rely on. So this one is from NYX, and it's tinted as well, so it really speeds up the process of applying your brows. It keeps your brows in place all day long, and I swear to God, they could survive a hurricane with this stuff on. For primer, I'm going in with two of my favorite summer essentials. This is the Farsali Skin Tune Blur, and this other primer by Becca. I cannot remember what it's called, but everything that I use will be in the description. So we're going to start off with Farsali, and this is great because it blurs the pores without feeling heavy on the skin like other pore filling primers can. Especially in the summer, my face starts sweating as soon as I step outside, and the worst feeling is when your makeup just feels sticky and gross on your skin. So this lightweight primer really helps with that. So next I'm going to go in with the Becca primer, and be warned, this is not for the timid, alright? If your skin is even a little bit dry, stay away. Stay far away. Okay, run. Don't say I didn't warn you. This primer is the ultimate matte primer. She is not playing around, and a lot of people actually have trouble with this primer because of the way that it sets. It has this like cooling effect, and then it dries down to a powder finish. It can pill up if you're not careful, and you can see me here struggling a little bit, but honestly it is worth it. This primer keeps you matte all day. I also don't use it all over the face, just on my nose and a tiny bit on my forehead. Now that I have all my primer on, you can see that my skin is looking very matte and almost dry and crusty. So what helps is I'm going to set my primer with setting spray. This step is really important because it helps the primer melt into your skin a little more, but it also literally sets it in place and increases how long your makeup will look good before it breaks down in the heat. Alright, so now we're going to move on to eyeshadow. There isn't really one look that embodies summer to me because to me, summer is just the time to play with color. So what we're going to do is focus on how to make sure whatever eyeshadow you use lasts all day. So my eyelids get very sweaty and crease, so an eyeshadow primer is absolutely essential to me. This one is the Shadow Insurance by Too Faced, and it really helps prevent creasing throughout the day. And if you want, you can go in with a concealer over this, but I find when I do that, my eyelids just feel kind of cakey and heavy, so I just go in with one or the other. So for eyeshadow, like I said, there isn't one look that embodies summer to me, so I'm just going to be playing with some color. I'm going to be using the NYX Off Tropic palette for this look, and I'm first going to take this Barney purple and apply it all over the crease. Also, did Barney scare any of you guys as kids? Because he was always a little freaky to me. I don't know, just thought I'd put that out there. So now I'm going to go in with this peachy orange shade and use it just to blend that crease color a little more, add some extra definition. Even though you can barely see it, I just think it adds a nice little touch to the look. Now I'm going to take this darker plum color on the outer V of my eyes and also take a little bit into the crease as well. And finally, for the lid color, I'm going to be taking this raspberry shade from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. This color really makes me want booster juice. Is that weird? I don't know. I feel like I can taste the berries. I'm going to kind of zoom through this eyeshadow because honestly, the way that you prep your eyes is really what determines how well your eyeshadow wears. I'd say maybe avoid cream eyeshadows in the summer if you're looking for longevity, but otherwise you can do pretty much whatever you want. So now that the eyes are done, we are going to go in with foundation. So I'm going to be using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in the shade Toasty Toffee. This foundation is definitely a cult favorite, but I see why. It makes the skin look so smooth, and even though it is matte, it's not drying or crackly. So when it's super hot outside, I tread lightly with foundation. I find the more you put, the worse it looks after a few hours in the heat. So I like to apply in the middle of my face and work outwards. Usually I don't put any foundation here on the outside, but I am today because of that nasty scar that I have. As you'll see, I'm also not applying any foundation directly on my nose. I'm taking whatever is left over on the brush and using that just to make sure that my nose matches the rest of my face. I find if you apply foundation directly on your nose, it can look a little cakey or start to separate after a while, which is obviously not cute. And now, just to add some extra coverage in some areas, I'm going to be using the Fenty concealer in the shade 330 and just applying that where I need some extra love. And you guys also know I like to go over my foundation with a sponge after I blend it out with a brush. This just gives you the ultimate flawless finish. And now for concealer, I'm going to start off with the Too Faced concealer in the shade Warm Sand, and over that I'm going to layer the Fenty concealer in the shade 330. These are essential for the summer. How many times have I said that in this video? They don't budge or break apart when you start sweating, so they're great for all over the face as well. And you guys know I like to let my concealer sit for a minute, so in the meantime, I'm going to go in with a bit of a cream bronzer. This is a Colourpop foundation stick. I'll have the shade name in the description, but this shade is perfect for my skin tone. If you want to add a little bit of definition, but not directly contour, hopefully that makes sense. And here I am just blending away the concealer. Now, to set all of that in place, I'm mixing the Colourpop banana powder with the Fenty powder in the shade Honey. Before setting, I'm making sure to smooth out any creases with my sponge. I'm using the Colourpop powder under my eyes because while it is matte, it doesn't look dry under the eyes, which is a problem I encounter a lot in the summer. As in, if I go in with a super matte powder under my eyes, I find it just does not look cute, so that's why I really like this powder. And for the rest of my face, I'm using the Fenty powder to set, and this stuff is honestly magic, okay? This shade isn't perfect. It's a little orange for my liking, but anyways, it is workable and the formula is so worth it. This stuff just throws hands at your sweat. Like, it fights back, okay? Next up, I'm going in on my lower lash line with some eyeshadow, and honestly, I'm just using the same shades that we used on the lids, nothing too special. For powder bronzer, I'm using the shade Rodeo Drive by Colourpop, and this is the perfect bronzer for me when I'm a little darker in the summer. And also because it is a powder, it works to kind of set everything in place as well. As you guys know, bronzer is totally essential if you are using a fuller coverage foundation. You can just look very flat, very one-dimensional, like my chest. That was a bad joke, I'm sorry. For blush, I'm using this palette by Morphe and mixing a pink shade with a more taupe shade. And this is so beautiful for the summer. You just look like a little princess. Now, my favorite part of doing my makeup in the summer is honestly highlighter. And for highlighter today, I'm using the shade Opal from Becca. And this stuff is bomb, you guys. It's glittery, but it's not too glittery that it looks like festival makeup. Hopefully that makes sense. It is just so beautiful. I like going a little heavy-handed under my brows. I just really enjoy how that looks when the sun hits it. You are just glowing. And I'm also taking a little bit on the bridge of my nose. I find you look extra glowy that way. It looks really soft and pretty. And of course, I'm going to take it on my cheeks and also my inner corners. So now I'm going to set my face with some setting spray. This one is by a company called Art Naturals. Honestly, this stuff is amazing. It is better than some high-end setting sprays that I've tried, and it was so cheap. I got it in a gift set for about $10, and I am in love. It's a little more dewy, so I'm going to be using this one first and just press it into the skin. Now, we are going to make sure that we stay matte all day, and I'm going to go over that setting spray with the Urban Decay De-Slick Oil Control Setting Spray. Oh my goodness, that is so difficult to say. So next up, I'm going to curl my lashes and go in with the Maybelline Total Temptation Mascara. I don't really have a specific reason for picking this one. I just like how it looks. It doesn't flake or move around my eye area. Like, once you apply it, she is stuck. And yeah, I like it a lot. For lips, I'm going to be using this glossy lip color by Wet n Wild in the shade Cedar Later. It is such a beautiful formula because while it is glossy, it doesn't slip and slide all over your face, and the color as well is just one of my favorites. I absolutely am in love with this. And there you have it, guys. That is pretty much it for this summer look. Here is a close-up of the eyeshadow. I love colors like this in the summer. I just think they are so pretty. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what are your favorite summer staples? That is pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!